Good morning. I'm your English teacher Vaswati. Today's our new topic is Discourse Analysis and Grammar, Grammatical Cohesion, Reference. So, what makes a text coherent? What differentiates a cohesive grammatical unit from a random collection of sentences? So, we will find answer for these questions now. Cohesion and coherence are terms used in discourse analysis and text linguistics to describe the properties of written texts. Advertising language tends not to use clear marks of cohesion, but is interpreted as being coherent. Coherence, the ways a text makes sense to reader and writers through the relevance and accessibility of its configuration of concepts, ideas and theories. Cohesion is the grammatical and lexical relationship between different elements of a text which hold it together. Coherence, a semantic property of discourse formed through the interpretation of each individual sentence relative to the interpretation of other sentences, with interpretation implying the interaction between the text, the reader, and the writer. A property that a reader will discern in the text allows the reader to make sense of the text, refers to the semantic unity created between the ideas, sentences, paragraphs, and sections of a piece of writing. Coherence or cohesion. Coherence, very general principle of interpretation of language in context. Fewer formal linguistic features. Example, vocabulary choice. Relationships deal with text as a whole, based on primarily semantic relationships. Errors much more obvious. Cohesion, formal linguistic features, example, repetition, reference. Semantic relationships between sentences and within sentences, determined by lexically and grammatically ordered intersectional relationships, more recognizable. Is it coherent or not? The ancient Egyptians were masters of preserving dead people's bodies by making mummies of them. Mummies several thousand years old have been discovered nearly intact. The skin, hair, teeth, fingernails and toenails and facial features of the mummies were evident. It is possible to diagnose the diseases they suffered in life, such as smallpox, arthritis, and nutritional deficiencies. The process was remarkably effective. Sometimes apparent were the fatal afflictions of the dead people. A middle-aged king died from a blow on the head, and polio killed a child king. Mummification consisted of removing the internal organs, applying natural preservatives inside and out, and then wrapping the body in layers of bandages. Below is the same paragraph is revised for coherence. Italics indicates pronouns and repeated key words. Bold indicates transitional tag words, and underlining indicates parallel structures. The ancient Egyptians were masters of preserving dead people's bodies by making mummies of them. In short, mummification consisted of removing the internal organs, applying natural preservatives inside and out, and then wrapping the body in layers of bandages. And the process was remarkably effective. Indeed, mummies several thousand years old have been discovered nearly intact. Their skin, hair, teeth, fingernails and toenails and facial features are still evident. Their diseases in life, such as smallpox, arthritis, and nutritional deficiencies, are still diagnosable. Even their fatal affections are still apparent. A middle-aged king died from a blow on the head. A child king died from polio. A text is a semantic unit whose parts are linked together by explicit cohesive ties. Cohesive tie, a semantic and/or lexicogrammatical relation between an element in text and some other element that is crucial to interpretation of it. Even so, within sentence ties occur the cohesive ties across sentence boundaries are those which allow sequences of sentences to be understood as text. Cohesion therefore defines a text as a text. Halliday and Hassan identified general categories of cohesion devices that signal coherence in texts. So grammatical cohesions are that they includes a reference, ellipsis, substitution, conjunction. Reference, replacement of words and expressions with proforms, pronouns or modifiers. Three types of reference. They are personal, demonstrative, and comparative. Reference. So here is given reference types: personal, demonstrative, and comparative. A reference by means of person includes personal pronouns I, he, she, possessive pronouns mine, yours, his, possessive determiners my, your, her. Example: English is considered an international language. It is spoken by more than 260 million people all over the world. They told me you had gone by your car. Demonstrative reference, essentially a form of verbal pointing. The speaker identifies the referent by locating on a scale of proximity. In general, these, and here imply proximity to the speaker. That, those, and they imply distance from the speaker. Like personals, the demonstrative regularly refer exaphorically to something within the context of situation. How do you like a cruise in that yacht? Pick this up. Comparative reference contributes to textual cohesion by setting up a relation of contrast, expressed by such adjectives as same, identical, equal, adjectives in comparative degree such as bigger, faster, and adverbs such as identically, likewise, so, such, and etc. She has a similarly furnished room to mine. The little dog barked as noisily as the big one. They asked me three equally difficult questions. Halliday and Hassan call within text cohesive ties anaphoric and references items outside the exaphoric. So reference situational exaphoric and textual anaphoric. Wash and core 6 cooking apples. Put them into a fireproof dish. An example of anaphoric reference when them referred back to apples. The reference signals to the reader what kind of information is to be retrieved. Then, the refer signals to the reader that he or she needs to look back in the text to find its meaning. We went to Devon for a holiday. So at first anaphora, it's anaphora to preceding text, cataphora to following text. We went to Devon for a holiday. The people we stayed with had 4 children. The eldest girl was about 9. The first, the is cataphoric since there is no lexical relation between people and anything in the preceding sentence. The second, the is both cataphoric and anaphoric. Cataphoric eldest defined as girl. Anaphoric girl is related to children. For he is a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us. As readers outside of this environment, we are unfamiliar with who the he is that is being referred to, but most likely the people involved are aware of the he. When the meaning is not explicit from the text itself, but is obvious to those in a particular situation. This is called metaphoric reference. Substitution. Replacement of one item by another. A relation in the wording rather than in the meaning. Somewhat different from the reference in that another word takes the place of the thing that is being discussed. Types of substitution: nominal, verbal, and clausal. Whereas reference is a relation between meaning, substitution is a grammatical relationship. Types of cohesive relation: linguistic level. Reference is semantic, substitution including of ellipses, and grammatical. Types of substitution: nominal substitution. Nominal substitutes, they are for noun had one once, for nominal complement the same, for attribute so. John seems to be intelligent. Is he really so? The pronoun one is often used in nominal references. Let's go and see the bears. The polar ones are over on that rock. In the sentence, ones is taking the place of bears in the previous sentence. Winter is often so damp. The same is true for the summer. The verbal substitute in English is do. Verbal substitutes for verb: do, be, have. For process: do the same, likewise. For proposition: do so, be so. The words did not come to the same as they used to do. I finally called on him. I have wanted to do so for a long time. Clausal substitution. For positive, so; for negative, not. In clausal substitution, the entire clause is presupposed and the contrasting element is outside the clause. Is there going to be an earthquake? It says so. So presupposes the whole of the clause there is going to be an earthquake, and contrasting environment is provided by the says which is outside it. Has everyone gone home? I hope not. Ellipses. Deletion of words, expressions, or phrases. Simply substitution by zero. Types of ellipses: nominal, verbal, and clausal. Nominal ellipses. Ellipses within the nominal group. Here are 13 cards. Take any. Now give me any there. Some say one thing, others say another. Which hat will you wear? This is the best. Have another chocolate? No, thanks. That was my third. Smith was the first person to leave. I was the second. Verbal ellipses. Ellipses within the verbal group. Have you been swimming? Yes, I have. What have you been doing? Swimming. Is he complaining? He may be. I don't care. I haven't finished it yet. I hope you are going to have by tomorrow. Some were laughing and others crying. Were you laughing? No, I wasn't. John came. Didn't he? No, he will. Ellipses in which an entire clause is elicited from a sentence. Smith was going to take part, but somebody telephoned and asked to see him urgently too, so he had to withdraw. Who? I kept quiet because Mary gets embarrassed if anyone mentions about John's name. I don't know why. Who could have broken those tiles? I can't think who. Conjunctions, a word of groups of words used to connect words, phrases, or clauses. 4 categories, so they are adjective, adversative, casual, and temporal. For the whole day, he climbed up the steep mountainside, almost without stopping, and in all the time he met no one. Adjective. Yet he was hardly aware of being tired. Adversative. So by the night time the valley was far below him. Casual. Then, as dusk fell, he sat down to rest. Temporal. Additive type. The additive is a kind of conjunctive relation which is closer to coordination. Adjective of words such as and, also, no, or else, moreover, in addition, besides, by the way, that is, likewise, similarly, conversely, those, for instance. Example, my client says he doesn't know his witness. Further, he denies ever having seen her. Perhaps she missed her train, or else she has changed her mind and isn't coming. Adversative type. The basic meaning of the adversative relation is contrary to exception. Adversative words such as yet, but, however, despite this, on the other hand, in fact, instead, either way, anyhow, nevertheless, rather. All the features were correct. They had been checked, yet the total came out wrong. We may be back tonight. I'm not sure. Either way, just make yourself at home. Casual type. Casual relation involves primary reason, result, and purpose relations between the sentences. Casual words are such as so, those, hence, therefore, arising out of this, in that case, otherwise, because, as a result, on this basis, accordingly. You are not leaving, are you? Because I have got something to say to you. I wasn't informed, otherwise I should have taken some action. Temporal type. The relation between two successive sentences. Conjunctions of this type such as then, next, afterward, previously, finally, at last, meanwhile, next day, first, from now on. To sum up, in short, henceforward, hitherto, up to now, this time. The weather cleared just as the party approached the tunnel. Until then there had been nothing of the panorama around them. At last he finished the rehearsal for his role. Conjunctions, coordination and subordination. Coordinating conjunctions connect words, phrases, or clauses of equal grammatical rank. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. I used phonics in learning to read, and so I did you. So he seemed to be tired, he did not refuse to go out. Subordinating conjunctions connect clauses that are of subordinate importance to the independent clause or to some element in the main clause. Also, except, so, while, if, whether as if, where, wherever, in order that, so that, after, as long as soon as, before, since, when, etc. Lexical cohesion achieved by the selection of vocabulary. Types of lexical cohesion: reiteration and collocation. Reiteration, a form of lexical cohesion which involves repetition, synonym or near synonym, superordinate, and a general noun. Example: pollution of our environment has occurred for centuries, but it has become a significant health problem only within the last century. Atmospheric pollution contributes to the respiratory disease and to lung cancer in particular. Other health problems directly related to air pollutants include heart disease, eye irritation, and so on. It is repetition. Reiteration. Henry has bought a new Jaguar. He practically lives in the car. Superordinate. I turned to the ascent of the peak. The climb is perfectly easy. Synonym. I turned to the ascent of the peak. The thing is perfectly easy. General noun. There is a boy climbing that's free. As a lad is going to fall if he doesn't take care. Near synonym. Collocation. Cohesion is that is achieved through the association of lexical items that regularly occur. These lexical items or words tend to occur in similar environments. For instance, hair, comb, reader, writer, door, window, chair, table, north, south, please, what, be, honey, etc. Why does this little boy wriggle all the time? You don't wriggle. So he has given analysis of coherence. So viewers, it is the end of our video lesson. If you have got any questions, you can easily contact me and you can ask me. Don't forget to do all the tasks on the Moodle platform and to submit it. So, thank you for your attention. Our lesson is over. Goodbye.